Robert Greene wrote that the greatest mistake a man can make is to show his hunger before the feast is served. And Schopenhauer, the darkest philosopher who ever lived, revealed something even more brutal about desire. He said that wanting something openly is the surest way to push it away. This is not dating advice. This is the psychology of human nature stripped down to its rawest form. And in the next 42 minutes, you will learn a method so powerful that rejection becomes nearly impossible. Not because you trick anyone, but because you understand something about attraction that 99% of men will die never knowing. Stay until the end. What I reveal in the final segment will change how you see every interaction with women for the rest of your life. Here is the truth no one wants to say out loud. Most men lose before they even open their mouths. They lose in their energy. They lose in their eyes. They lose in the way they lean forward just a little too much. Schopenhauer called this the tyranny of the will. When you want something badly, your entire body broadcasts that want. Your voice changes, your posture shifts. Your eyes become slightly desperate, and women detect this instantly. Not because they are judging you, but because evolution built them to sense a man's frame in seconds. A desperate man is a dangerous man. Not physically, emotionally. A desperate man drains energy. He takes more than he gives. He needs validation like oxygen. And every woman's subconscious knows this before her conscious mind can form a single thought. This is why good men get rejected. This is why nice men hear, "I just want to be friends." This is why you can do everything right and still feel her pull away. The problem was never your words. The problem was never your looks. The problem was never your bank account. The problem was your frame. Robert Greene studied power for decades. He read thousands of historical texts. He analyzed kings, generals, seducers, and con artists. And he discovered one principle that separated those who got what they wanted from those who chased forever. He called it the law of reversal. The more you pursue, the more you push away. The more you withdraw, the more you attract. This sounds backwards. That is because society taught you the opposite. Society told you to express your feelings. Society told you to be open about what you want. Society told you that honesty means announcing your intentions. But Greene understood something deeper. Honesty is not the same as exposure. You can be completely truthful without revealing your entire hand. In fact, the most powerful communicators in history never showed their cards early. They created mystery. They created space. They created what Schopenhauer called the vacuum of desire. Here is the first dark truth. Desire cannot exist without space. Think about this carefully. When you fill every silence with words, there is no room for her imagination. When you answer every question fully, there is no mystery left to solve. When you make your intentions obvious, there is no tension to build. Schopenhauer observed that humans do not value what is given freely. We value what we earn. We value what we work for. We value what seems just slightly out of reach. This is not manipulation. This is how the human brain is wired. When something comes too easily, we assume it has no worth. When something requires effort, we assume it must be valuable. This applies to objects. This applies to opportunities. And this absolutely applies to intimacy. The man who offers himself freely will be seen as low value, not because he is low value, but because he violated the psychology of earning. The man who creates space, who holds back, who lets her wonder about him, that man becomes a puzzle she wants to solve. In the next few minutes, I will give you 5 dark psychological laws. These are not techniques. These are not pickup lines. These are principles rooted in philosophy that has survived for centuries. Law 1 will teach you the art of controlled presence. How to be physically close while remaining emotionally unreachable. Law 2 will show you the architecture of tension. How to build anticipation without saying a single word about what you want. Law 3 reveals the selection frame. How to make her feel chosen without ever chasing her. Law 4 delivers the invitation method. How to create conditions where she moves toward you first. Law 5 is the most dangerous, the transfer of desire. How to plant an idea in her mind so that intimacy becomes her thought, not yours. Each law builds on the one before it. Skip ahead and you will miss the foundation. Watch until the end and you will possess knowledge that most men will never access. We live in an age of noise. Every man is loud. Every man is obvious. Every man swipes right and sends the same desperate messages. Women are exhausted not by male attention, by low-quality male attention, by men who broadcast need, by men who cannot hold a frame for 30 seconds. Schopenhauer warned that the common man reveals himself immediately. The superior man lets himself be discovered slowly. This is your advantage. While other men scream for attention, you will whisper. While other men chase, you will stand still. While other men beg, you will invite. And that difference will make you unforgettable. But before you can master any of this, you need to understand one thing first. The reason most men fail is not lack of skill. It is a fundamental misunderstanding of what attraction actually is. In the next segment, I will destroy everything you thought you knew, and I will rebuild it using the darkest truths Schopenhauer and Greene ever revealed. Do not skip ahead. What comes next is the foundation for everything that follows. Robert Greene spent years studying the most seductive figures in history. Casanova, Cleopatra, the Duke Dio, and he found one thing they all shared. None of them ever chased. They positioned themselves so perfectly that others had no choice but to come to them. This was not luck. This was strategy. And today you will learn the first and most important law of that strategy. Law 1, the art of controlled presence. Most men believe that attraction requires pursuit. They think you must approach, you must initiate, you must push forward. And they are partially right, you must be present. But presence without control is desperation. Schopenhauer wrote that the will to life drives all human behavior. We want to survive. We want to reproduce. We want to connect. But when that will becomes visible, it repels rather than attracts. This is the paradox. You must be close enough to create opportunity. But you must seem unattached to any outcome. Close in body, distant in need. This is controlled presence. Imagine two men at the same gathering. The first man spots a woman he finds attractive. He watches her from across the room. He waits for the perfect moment. Then he walks over with clear intent in his eyes. His body language says, "I want something from you." Before he speaks one word, she knows. Her guard rises, her walls go up. She becomes polite but distant. The interaction dies before it begins. Now imagine the second man. He enters the same room. He does not scan for targets. He moves with purpose that has nothing to do with women. He talks to different people. He laughs genuinely. He seems complete without anyone's validation. At some point, he ends up near the same woman, not because he planned it, because he was simply moving through the space naturally. They exchange a few words. He is warm, but not eager. Interested, but not invested. He treats her like a human, not a prize. Then he does something most men never do. He leaves the conversation first. Not rudely, not abruptly. He simply has somewhere else to be. And in that moment, something shifts in her mind. Who is this man who does not cling? Who is this man who seems complete without me? That question is the seed of attraction. This is not theory. This is biology. When a man pursues obviously, the woman's brain categorizes him quickly, available, eager, low status. This happens in milliseconds. But when a man seems slightly out of reach, something different activates. The brain releases dopamine, not from getting something, from anticipating something. Robert Greene understood this deeply. He wrote that desire depends on the space between wanting and having. Close that gap too fast and desire dies. Keep that gap open and desire grows. Controlled presence is the art of maintaining that gap. You are there, but you are not desperate to stay. You are interested, but you could walk away at any moment. That tension is what creates attraction. This is not about playing games. This is about internal reality. If you pretend to be unattached while secretly desperate, she will sense it. Women read subtext better than men read headlines. You cannot fake this. You must build it. Schopenhauer said that a man must become sufficient unto himself. This means your happiness cannot depend on her response. Your worth cannot rise or fall based on her interest. You must enter every interaction already complete. Not performing completeness, actually feeling it. How do you build this? You invest in your own life first. Goals that excite you, skills that challenge you, a mission that exists whether she is there or not. When your life is genuinely full, controlled presence becomes natural. You stop needing any single interaction to work because your identity does not depend on it. This energy is felt before you say a word. It walks into the room before you do, and it makes everything that follows 10 times easier.
Here is where most men fail.
They learn about controlled presence and turn it into a technique. They act distant to seem valuable. They leave conversations to create mystery. They play hard to get as a strategy, and it backfires because she senses the manipulation. She feels the performance, and performance is just another form of neediness. You are still chasing. You're just chasing with a mask on. Greene warned about this constantly. He said that true power never looks like it is trying. The moment effort becomes visible, power evaporates. Controlled presence only works when it is real. When you genuinely have options, when you genuinely have a life, when you genuinely could walk away and feel fine, this cannot be shortcut. This must be built. Controlled presence gets you in the door. It creates the initial spark of curiosity. But curiosity alone does not create intimacy. Curiosity must be transformed into tension. And tension must be built carefully, layer by layer. Most men destroy tension the moment it appears. They feel the electricity and rush to resolve it. They sense the opening and leap through it too fast. This is why the moment dies. This is why the energy fades. This is why you end the night confused about what went wrong. In the next segment, I will teach you Law 2. The architecture of tension. How to build anticipation so thick that she cannot think about anything else. This is where the psychology gets darker. This is where Schopenhauer's insights become truly powerful. Do not leave now. What comes next separates amateurs from masters. Schopenhauer made an observation that most people find uncomfortable. He said that satisfaction kills desire. The moment you get what you want, you stop wanting it. This is why lottery winners become depressed. This is why achievements feel empty days later. This is why the chase is always more exciting than the capture. And this is exactly why most men fail at intimacy. They rush toward resolution. They try to close the gap as fast as possible. And in doing so, they murder the very tension that creates attraction. Law 2 will teach you to do the opposite. Law 2, the architecture of tension. Tension is not discomfort. Tension is anticipation. It is the space between possibility and certainty. It is the feeling of something about to happen. Robert Greene studied the great seducers of history, and he found that none of them rushed. They understood that the approach matters more than the arrival. The journey creates the desire. The destination merely satisfies it. If you skip the journey, there is nothing to satisfy. The experience feels hollow, empty, forgettable. But if you extend the journey, if you build it slowly, layer by layer, the destination becomes unforgettable. This is the architecture of tension. Designing the journey so that every step increases anticipation. Tension operates on 3 levels: physical, verbal, psychological. Most men only understand physical tension. They think tension means sitting close or touching her arm. And physical tension matters, but it is the weakest form. Physical tension without the other 2 layers feels hollow. It can even feel invasive. Verbal tension is more powerful. This is the art of saying things that create a charge without stating your intent. It is implication rather than declaration. It is painting pictures rather than making demands. But the deepest layer is psychological tension. This is the tension that exists entirely in her mind. When she wonders about you even when you are not there. When she replays your words looking for hidden meaning, when she cannot figure you out completely. This is where attraction becomes obsession, and this is where we will focus. Let me be clear about physical tension first. It is necessary but dangerous. Done wrong, it destroys everything. Done right, it amplifies everything else. The key is calibration. You do not touch to escalate. You touch to test. A brief contact on her arm during a joke. Then you pull back. You watch her response. Does she lean in slightly? Does she find reasons to be closer? Or does she create distance? Her body tells you everything her words might hide. Schopenhauer wrote that the body speaks the language of the will. We cannot hide what we truly want. Our physical responses betray us. So you use light contact as a question, not a statement. You are asking, can I move closer, not announcing I am taking more. This reframe changes everything. It keeps you calibrated. It keeps her comfortable, and it lets tension build instead of break. Now we enter darker territory. Verbal tension is about creating a charge through language. Not crude language, not obvious statements about what you want. That destroys tension instantly. Verbal tension is about implication. You say one thing, but another meaning hovers beneath the surface. Greene called this the art of insinuation. You never state directly. You suggest, you hint, you let her mind fill in the gaps. Here's an example. Instead of telling her she is beautiful, you say something different. You say there is something about the way you think that I find dangerous. What does dangerous mean? She does not know exactly, but her mind starts working. She starts wondering. She starts feeling something she cannot name. That unnamed feeling is tension. Another example. Instead of asking to see her again, you say, I am not sure spending more time together is wise. Now she's confused. Why would it not be wise? What does he mean? That confusion keeps her thinking about you. And thinking about you is the first step to wanting you. This is where true mastery lives. Psychological tension is not about what you say or do. It is about what you withhold. It is about the parts of you she cannot access. Schopenhauer observed that humans are drawn to mystery. We cannot resist the incomplete. Our minds obsess over unanswered questions. This is why cliffhangers work. This is why unsolved puzzles haunt us. This is why we remember unfinished conversations more than completed ones. You must become an unanswered question. Not by being evasive, not by refusing to share, but by having depth she has not fully explored, by having sides she has not yet seen. By being genuinely complex rather than immediately readable. When she thinks she understands you, tension dies. When she realizes there is more to discover, tension grows. This is why your inner development matters so much. A shallow man is quickly understood. A deep man takes years to fully know. Depth creates psychological tension automatically. You now understand how to build tension on all three levels. Physical through calibrated contact. Verbal through implication and suggestion. Psychological through depth and mystery. But tension alone is not enough. Tension without direction becomes frustration. Frustration becomes resentment. Resentment ends the interaction entirely. You must pair tension with something else. You must make her feel chosen, not pursued, not hunted, chosen. This distinction changes everything, and it requires understanding something Carl Jung discovered about the human psyche. In the next segment, I will teach you Law 3, the selection frame. How to create the feeling that she was selected from all others. That feeling is more powerful than any compliment you could ever give. Do not stop now. The psychology is about to go much deeper.